Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's up, you Monday morning scallywags? And of course, you nutmeggers, conversationalists, men, women, and young people, and of course, you haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Welcome back to the week. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, despite the weather, which is a little weird. Rozan had a little 24-hour hiccup, so to speak. This temperature is not going to be great for me because of Rozan. Let me sort of explain. So when we were in Texas, it was always hot. Even in the cold, it was hot. It was like dry ice. It was hot. And she rarely got sick. And that's kind of how she operates. If it's warm, doesn't get sick. If it's warm, cold, cold, warm, 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 cold, for some reason, her body cannot react very well. And it puts her through all of these motions, and the next thing you know, she's under the weather. And she'll feel it. The way she did it this weekend, and it happened on Saturday, it was over by Sunday. Actually, it happened Friday night, it was over by Sunday. She'll go into this repetitive sneezing thing. So it was like, achoo, achoo, achoo. It was like madness. And, you say, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. I get around the fifth one, I'm like, all right, enough. But that's what I knew. As soon as she had around the fifth sneeze, she goes, uh-oh. And I'm like, oh. You're going to have to start, you got to go to the Chinese restaurant, get wonton soup. Or got to go to Panera Bread to get chicken noodle soup. It ended up being Panera. Then she's got to make some weird brujeria stuff in there with chili pepper and some chives and eye of a newt. I don't know what it is. I don't ask questions. She's got to drink all that stuff. And then I have to stay close enough that she can, beckon me. I can't sit in the living room. I've got to sit like in the doorway nearby so she can see me. Can't be out of focus. It's got to be right there so she can ask me, get me a tissue. Get me some water. Get out of my face. Bring the blanket. Grab me another blanket. I have to be nearby. Rozan referred to me yesterday when we went to the Yard Goats. You can see my hat here online. We went to see the Yard Goats because our partners at Canines for Connecticut Vets were there. And big shout out to them. A couple of folks I talked to here on the phone were there. She went there to go see the puppies. And when we got there, she was referring to me as her emotional support human or husband. That's why she wants a service dog. But I have to be nearby, especially when she's sick. So it only lasted a couple hours. She was up and at 'em by Sunday, made it to service with the church, and she seems okay now. She's home. She's got 2 new pots for her. We're making potatoes now. We're growing potatoes in our apartment, Roland. I don't know who these people are. Potatoes seems like why would you grow one potato in a pot? Like that's what you do at a farm. Does your wife do? No. She doesn't do any of that sort of stuff at home?
Nothing.
She got 2 big pots at home, and she put a pineapple in one. The top of the pineapple, she put that in one.
Yep.
And she's got potatoes growing, or a potato growing in the other. It's 2 big pots that I had to go buy at Home Depot. And I'm going, what are we going to do with 1 potato? And she says, I'm going to have it for dinner. Okay. Like, we can't just go to the store and have, I guess there's some sense of accomplishment in growing the potato and then eating it. Is that what it is? I'm not getting it.
It's the work behind it.
Yes.
I guess.
And so when I left her this morning,
it gives her something to focus on every day, something to do here, something to look forward to doing.
You mean it's a job?
No, it's not a job. You don't have to do it.
Right.
And you don't get paid monetary wise anyway. Right. You get paid in
the results.
Yeah, in the results.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't get it, but she was sitting when I left her. She didn't even come to the door to give me a kiss goodbye. She sat by the plants looking at them as if they were going to grow as she watched them.
Oh, they are. She probably going to talk to them a little bit.
Oh, dude, do you think she does that? I have to ask her.
I wouldn't
next
be
time.
Surprised.
You wouldn't be surprised? Oh, I have to ask her now. I didn't even think of that.
It's a living thing.
Well, yes, okay, fine. If we're being literal, yes, it is a living thing. But do you think I never asked her that. I didn't even think she was that weird. Do you think she talks to them?
You think it's weird to talk to plants?
Yes, I have to ask now. Now I have to get on the phone and ask my wife if when I leave, is she rushing me out so she can have a conversation with her plants?
I talk to, we have 2 plants in my house.
And you talk to them?
Yeah.
Do they have names?
I didn't name them. But when I open the blind to let the sunlight come in on them, I say, "What's up, big dog? How you doing today?" And
okay,
get you some sun, relax a little bit.
Yes. Okay. I have to get her on the phone now. Now I have to ask her whether or not she does this. The chat room is down for some reason, but I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm on X. If you want to go to ReeseOnRadio.com and click on X, you can tell me if you talk to your plants. I don't get it. I mean, I guess it's some sort of mechanism, sort of like the plants are feeding off your vibe. Is that what it is?
It means something. Think about it. What they tell you to do. They tell you to take off your shoes and socks, go outside, stand in the grass, because it refreshes your body. Mm-hmm. And so it got to be something to it.
Okay. All right, I understand. I mean,
they are living creatures. They can't talk back to you, but
right.
They respond by growing and blooming and flourishing properly.
I don't believe in any of this stuff.
Oh, man.
But what do I know? It doesn't mean that I know. Of course, I can be completely naive to all of
Reese,
this.
how are you here on Earth, man?
I just never talked to...
How are you here on Earth?
Through my parents, I would assume, my mother and my father.
Yeah, but that process is normalized, but that's actually magic, man.
Yeah, I get it. All right, fine.
I know it's normalized as just
it's just something that happens. Yes, I get it.
But that's actually magic.
I know there are some people out there who say speaking to your plants, like playing classical music to some plants, cause them to flourish. Where if you play angry, like death metal, the plants will wilter.
Yeah, well,
I've heard stuff like that. Don't believe it, but I've heard it before. I'm not saying that it isn't true or it can't be true. I just couldn't imagine me putting that kind of effort into talking.
What's effort? You walk by, you say hello to the plant, you may rub on a leaf or two, and
it just seems weird.
Let them know you're there and you actually care about them and you want them to be successful in their growth.
Okay. I know that, listen to me, she has got her and her friends. They are all into this plant thing. They are. Dana, our good friend at Stadium 15, he just got her this whole small horticulture weird. It looks like somebody was, it looks like a chemistry set for people into plants, and it's got a little neon lighting system on top of it. It's got an irrigation system that's built in. He bought for her, and every time I look at it and go, what is this sci-fi space 1999 stuff? It just looks weird to me. I don't understand.
Would you rather her be into Pet Cemetery?
No.
Exactly.
No. No, I would rather, listen, I love the fact that she's into plants. My thing is that I hate hauling the dirt. I had to do that this weekend.
See, well, now we got to the root of the
problem. Fine.
Yeah, you don't want to
spend enough time on the couch there, Roland, right? I'll tell you everything, apparently.
You don't want to move the dirt.
I hate the dirt. It's the dirt. It's just that, and then I'm like, where's the dirt at? And she goes, well, it's in the closet. And I'm like, ugh. Like you didn't use all of the dirt, and then she's got it. And here's the thing: what happens is that this one project where it's just one pot, and this pot looks to be about 2 gallons big. Next thing you know, it's going to be a 5-gallon pot. Then it's a 7-gallon. Every time I turn around, it's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to complete. We don't have a huge apartment. It's just going to be everywhere, and I feel like I'm going to be living in a jungle.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a huge apartment, you should have probably 2 small plants.
2, really?
2 small plants.
I think I'm working. I'm almost positive I have 7 to 9. I haven't even counted them yet. I know we got one long one that looks, it's real. I don't even know what plant that is. I'm going to call her later. I have to find out what all these plants are about. Because I don't know what, other than, I don't know. I want her to feel great about having a hobby. It's just that
there's positive things that come out of it, though.
I'm sure there are.
And think about it like this.
Mm-hmm.
It could brighten her mood. And by the time you get home, which will brighten your mood.
Okay.
Because you don't want an angry wife at home.
This is true.
And then you come home from a hard day's work wanting some peace and you don't have none. Now she has her plants. She's something to do. She's excited. You get home. She wants to talk to you about that and other things. And then, boom, now everybody's happy.
All right. What do I owe you for the therapy? $385?
I'm always here to help the children.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Pro bono work, indeed. All right. Well, I'll talk to her about it. I will. I'll talk to her about it. She help me. That's what I'm hoping, that she can help me understand what the whole plant is. My mom did that. I grew up with my mom doing that in the plants and everything, and I just never got into it. It's always a burden. My mom was always particular. We always got in trouble that if a plant died, it was our fault. That's what the thing was. I couldn't deal with that. Like a plant, it had nothing to do with her and the feeding of the plant. It was always us. Who touched my plant? Did you touch my plant? Why would I touch a plant? Like, what reason would I have? Like, I'm not even curious about them. Why would you think that? It's just, I don't know. It's just always thought it was weird. Anyway, speaking of weird. Oh, wow. Horrible segue, Reese. It is the first day of June. And I was thinking about today as the first day of June. In my head, I was saying to myself, wow, look how fast the year is going. We're already into the 6th month. Just began. And then I go online and I see something I've totally missed. I thought we had forgotten about this and we had moved on, but apparently we have not. It is Pride Month, apparently. Something I thought was a sin, but whatever. It is Pride Month, where around the country, if not the world, we celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community. And I said to myself, what do you think's going to happen for the next 30 days? I said, everything. Everything is going to happen in this month. And it will make or break Democrats. As long as Republicans are smart enough to stay out of the way. Listen to me, folks. This is very important. Consider it. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question and then answer it. How can Republicans screw up the whole thing with Pride Month this month? Here are a few ways. Make a fuss. I'm not celebrating Pride Month this because this, that, and the third. Let it go. It means nothing. Did you see the Pride Parade downtown on Main Street? Did you see what they were doing? Shh. Say nothing. Say nothing. Now, you're saying to yourself, well, Reese, what are we supposed to do? Just stand there and just allow this to happen? Yes. Yes. Do not point out the obvious, folks. This is the perfect time to allow those who would take advantage of this month to go ape in the streets. Be exploitive as needed. This would be groundbreakingly stupid. And they will. When we come back from the break, I'm going to explain this to you. Back in 2024, I told you something after the election. When Donald Trump clearly won, election people told us would take days, if not a week. I told you that something was going to happen and to be prepared for it. And that was the absolute, utter rejection of leftist ideology. What would happen? They would finally realize that the whole game was up and they had to normalize, or they had to go to extreme left. And if they didn't go extreme left, they would become violent in doing so. And what did we get in the last year and a half? Exactly that. We got violence after violence. We got screaming. We got hollering. We got radicalization. I mean, in ways that you thought was like, didn't these people get it from the election? No. I told you there was never going to be any rationale. And this Pride Month in an election year says everything you need to know. When we come back, I'll explain to you what you're going to see and why we need to let it happen. Because the midterms mean everything. Stick around. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Hey, we're back. Reese on the Radio right here on WTIC, NewsTalk 1080. Matt from Bridgeport, thank you. I see you joined in on the live chat room. For some odd reason, we were having a little bit of delay, but we are live and we are back on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, on Facebook, on X, as well as YouTube. So if you want to join us there, you can. Carl says, you're the voice of reason in Connecticut, buddy. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sir. Boris says, between ICE, Pride, and No Kings, a Hamden resident has gotten a full social calendar is my hunch. You're 100% right, but I want to talk about what Boris just wrote here in the chat room. And by the way, you can join the chat room by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Boris is right. He says, between ICE, Pride, and No Kings, which are all happening this month, it is a fever pitch. We are deep into the summer months, right? End of June, around the 21st or so. We're knee deep in. This is warm weather. This is when all the protests happen, right? So you got No Kings happening in the middle of the month. It is officially Pride Month. And when I was a kid, and I hope that what I'm about to say isn't offensive to people like you think it's too harsh of a language. I don't usually like to curse on the air. Even when I did my podcast, which in essence is like cable TV, I never cursed on the air. It's very seldom that I use certain curse words. But my mom used to have a saying when we were out in public. And she would say, don't go outside and show your ass. That's what she said. Well, it's Pride Month. That's exactly what they're going to do. Let's be honest. That's what they're going to do. No Kings, that's what they do. It's wilding out for suburban folks. It's unlike the teen takeovers, where they run through town wreaking havoc and damage on private property, stores, Starbucks, whatever the case may be, stealing, purging, all of that absolutely reprehensible garbage. But what do these suburbanites do? Oh, they wear the most ridiculous outfits with some of the worst things said to man on oak tag signs. Things like 8647. Huh? state senators holding up signs, smiling, talking about cholesterol, do your job, when referring to the commander-in-chief. That's all of that is. And the gay pride, because what are they being told all over news media? What are they being told? That these folks from these alternative lifestyles are going to end up in internment camps or killed. You guys might remember a few months ago, a man called this very show upset. I mean, we're talking, he was on the phone and you can visually see the man was upset, emotional even, talking about his daughter from that same community, about the fights that he and her have, screaming at each other. She's yelling at her dad, Donald Trump is trying to kill me. And he's scared for her because he knows that Donald Trump isn't going to kill her, but she's going to put herself in a position where she puts her own life in jeopardy. That's what he's concerned about. Not about what Donald Trump's going to do to her, what she's going to do to herself. Or what those rabble-rousers are going to influence her to do, putting her life in their hands. Well, they don't care about it. They need her to be a martyr. So what do you think these people are going to do? Because they think that 2024 was a rejection of everything they believe in. That's what No Kings is. So what do you think Pride Month is going to be an example of? What do you think that's what the exhibition is that going to be? They're going to be over the top. They can't help themselves. And why am I telling Republicans not to react? For the obvious reasons. Do you think the things that they are going to do are going to gain support from folks who are unaffiliated or independent? Do you think that it's going to be seen? And leave it to those who are going to be out there, the Andy Knows, the Marks in West Hartford, the Reese on the radios, the Mike Ortiz, the Eddie Torreses. Those guys are going to be out on the street, and they're going to be filming all of that for you to see on display. And they're not going to give any opinion about it. They're going to say, see, this is what happened. See, here's what they did over here. And you're going to see it, and you're going to see this display of disgusting behavior. And you're going to say, damn, if we give the reins to these people, we're going to see this everywhere. It's a permission slip. And that's why I say, Republicans, you don't have to say a word. Let the journalists, the guys who do this, let them do the thing. Share it amongst your friends. Don't even say it. It's just like, I'm just going to put this here. Just do that. You want to participate? Just going to say, I found this interesting today. Discuss. Now, there are plenty of people on the left who listen. We know you do. You're saying to yourself, yeah. No. Yeah. I want this. I need you, as my mother would say, show your ass. Go out there and lose it. Show the rest of us exactly what we're missing. Rub our nose in every bit of your gay pride. I can't wait to see the display. And you suburban moms who are supporters and allies, get the kiddies down there. That's right. In full view. While these people are out there showing you the disgusting behavior that usually comes with this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Huh? The naked bicyclist? Huh? The topless transgenders in broad daylight around children? Please, come on by. The street journalists will be there. They'll show it. And they'll show it to the crowd you think is also your ally. Guess who Mike Ortiz is going to show that video to? Do you know who his large constituency is? Mike Ortiz? Puerto Rican males. That's right. Men in the Puerto Rican community in places like New Haven, Waterbury, Bridgeport. those guys have a particular stance on that behavior in front of their children. You know, the ones that you don't pay any attention to, because if you do, you know, you'd be displayed as the bigots you really are. What are you going to call them? Hispanic misogynists? You're going to call them bigots and homophobes? And even if you did, do you think that anybody in the Puerto Rican community would care of what you thought of them if they saw those pictures of young children standing around? I'd love to see that argument. I'd love to see the argument that says, come on down and vote for us. You think that'll win you any headway over there? I doubt it. And No Kings, please do that even more. In fact, what I want the No Kings crowd to do is when you do your events and I come down there and I interview every one of you, I want you to tell me how you're doing the work that black people just can't do. How you're standing out there for all of the black and brown folks who can't do it themselves because they would sooner get locked up. And I'll have the cameras rolling. I can't wait to show that to the black and brown community about how you are making that ultimate sacrifice on their behalf, having never asked their permission. I want you out there in droves, so many of you. I want so many of you out there. My man, Rob Vidaro, there's a guy. I can't wait till he's out there. Every one of his videos go viral. He'll ask all types of questions. So tell me again why you're here for the blacks. It's my favorite part of the day to watch Rob expose people at these No Kings and anti-Trump rallies. They're the best videos ever. And there's an army of folks who can't wait to expose you. So please, whatever you do, this Pride Month, show it all. Let it all hang out, ladies and gentlemen. We can't wait. Conservatives, you don't have to do anything. You don't. You don't even have to be outraged this month. Just go on about your business, you know? Go on down to Lyman's Orchards. Go hang out with Davy Edwards. You know, their charity, Open Door Outdoors, they've got something going on the 17th. Go play some golf. Huh? Take the kiddies to pick some apples or some peaches. Go grab a rhubarb pie. This June, hell, go on down to Stadium 15. Play some virtual reality golf if you don't want to get out in the heat. Huh? Have a latte at the 10 Cafe, 10 Main Street, that's what it's called, 10 Main Street in Bristol. Go to church. Enjoy your lives. Do not get outraged at everything that you see out there. Do you, and let them do them. They do not understand how to win hearts and minds. Their objective is to, disgust. They're angry. They want to anger folks. They want to shove it in your face. Ah! You don't have to be that way. Help your neighbors. By the way, it's June. It's a big moving month. Help some of your friends move. Not out of state. Just next door. Just in the neighborhood, all right? Don't help anybody move out of state, all right? I'm kidding. All right, stick around. We'll be back. More news, more views. I'll take a few phone calls when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, WTIC, NewsTalk 1080. Later on in the program, my friend Rodney and I are having this discussion. And for some odd reason, it's never, ever going to go. It's never going to go away. But we like, you ever meet somebody you like the same thing that they like, but then you find this one thing that you can't get along on. It's not that we can't, I shouldn't say can't get along. We just can't agree on it. Okay? And he is particular about 1983, and I am particular about 1985. So we're having this debate about the best songs ever released. And I didn't know this. The Billboard charts consider November the year before whatever that year, the next year's release is. So in essence, if it's 1983, they count the songs that came out in November of 1982. Right? So that's a part of the fold. I don't think that's fair, but I guess in music sense, it makes some sort of sense because it takes like a month or so for a song to gain ground. So technically it's the end of the year. So it's considered the album of the year after, whatever that means. I'm going through the list of his in 1983. I'm going to talk about some of these on there. I think the reason why he gets to say it because Michael Jackson's Thriller came out in 82, and a lot of the singles were released at the end of the year. So you got Billie Jean, Beat It, which both is enough to say, forget about it. Argument over. Those are two monster hits. And then, some of the other, songs that are afterwards are just, all right. The Girl Is Mine was probably at the bottom of the list. They put it at number 49 out of 50. So 1985, I can look at all of these songs and I can say, these songs are far better. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. Let me get Dave in Bristol on the line real quick. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, Reese, long time.
Hey, man.
I'll be quick. I'm a little off topic, but, the governor came out today and shoveled out another $320 million. Did you see that?
To early education.
Right.
Yeah.
What was it, $150 million the month before and $200 million the month before that?
Yeah, he's Santa Claus right now. For some odd reason, The money's everywhere.
Yeah, the budget just passed, and this wasn't in the budget. How does he get to do this?
He doesn't. It's not, remember, that he's not getting to do anything. This is the news media and the governor doing what they do best. Showboating. The governor can't do a thing. Usually what happens is later on, either next year or after the election, it turns out none of that stuff's ever going to materialize. It's press nonsense.
Gone. He's taking it out of the general fund, our surplus, but he can't give us a break on utility rates. They can't get rid of the public benefits.
Oh, Dave, no. Now, Dave, listen, don't go anywhere on that, on the utility rates. There's something else that Lamont's not telling anyone that I just read today, and it was in the smallest of publications, which I find weird that no major publication talked about it. Do you know that the Lamont administration is quietly working with the Trump administration on energy?
To do what?
To lower energy rates. You didn't know about it, right? And I have the exclusive here. Ned Lamont isn't telling anyone. He's on stage during the convention, at the Democrat convention, and everywhere else that he can go. He's holding this is the only administration who can fight Donald Trump. And secretly, he's meeting with Christopher Wright.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that gas tax break you promised.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole part of the story. I've got that coming up, so stand by. Don't worry. I have so much good stuff, man. So much good stuff. Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
You got it. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. You never ever steal my thunder, folks. I always get the goods for you. I always get the goods. I got the guy lying about I eliminated taxes, income taxes for working families. Now, I'm the only administration fighting Donald Trump, secretly working with Christopher Wright, and Doug Burgum. You know that, huh? Yeah, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. It's all a bunch of smoke and mirrors. These people are the worst. And the reason why he's working with the Trump administration is because he's getting his behind handed to him on energy rates here. He can try all day and say it's Trump's fault. He can say it's all day and blame it on Pure and blame it on Eversource. He knows that this hangs squarely on his head. Squarely. And that's why he's secretly working them. So is Maura up in Massachusetts. I got the whole story. Stand by. We're going to get to that very, very soon. We got John Silver coming up with news. And later on, I'll read this list. 1983 versus 1985. I think I got Rodney beat here. I really do. I really do. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and Reese on the radio when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Hey, by the way, I know we got a connect with the Yard Goats. I'm actually feeling some of the gear that the Yard Goats have. I got this hat yesterday at the Yard Goats game, and K9 for Connecticut Vets were there as well. Got to meet those folks. By the way, go to WTIC.com/vets. Again, WTIC.com/vets today. Go in there and make a contribution. The sooner that you do, the more that they get to do the good work that we got to see firsthand in seeing these dogs. It was 3 black labs that were there, all beautiful, all sweet. They had one that was in training. You could still see the nature of the dog just wants to jump up on everybody and can't wait to be loved on. But we saw Shadow as well. There was one of the recipients there. I think Josh is his name. We had Shadow. His dog was there, and Rozan got to sort of romp around with his dog Shadow to get to know him. And it was a very interesting engagement. So if you haven't seen these folks and what they do, go check them out. But they're at Forever in My Heart Foundation. But you can still make a contribution today and tomorrow during this show and Brian's in the morning. So go to WTIC.com/vets, WTIC.com/vets in order to contribute. It doesn't matter how much you give. If it's $5, $2, $3, it doesn't matter. Just give what you can. And help them out. It's a very good cause. We do it every year. It helps us reach our goal to make sure that these dogs get with a deserving Connecticut vet. Sure way to give back. So Chris Murphy last week was on his book tour. And he's got to go everywhere to sell a book and an idea. It's funny to watch Chris Murphy think we here do not remember what he said last time. And he keeps contradicting himself. It's funny, people were posting on X yesterday that Chris Murphy was just a couple of months ago talking to, I think it was Chuck Todd, talking about we're in a war. We're in a war. That's what he was talking about. We're in a war. We have to ignore the norms that we used to have. These people who say that, we have to get back to norms, but we're in a war. That's what he said. And now he's talking about collectivism. It was weird to watch him in one breath talk about how we need to get back to community. We have to get back to community. And then went on The View and said, MAGA people are reprehensible. Which is it, Chris? Are you a schizophrenic? What is it? You're trying to sell everyone on the collectivism, but at the same time separating us. Whatever. Not my point. But this one is my favorite. And this isn't the reason why Chris Murphy polls at a 2. He's a worm. Is the reason why he polls at a 2. Even those who like him know he's a worm. Okay? He's a bottom feeder. And he knows that. I don't care how many books he sells or he buys. Bottom line is, he's a bottom feeder. And you can tell that just when he opens his mouth. Here's Chris Murphy in 2024.
Joe Biden is incredibly competent and he's incredibly effective. And this partisan hit job by somebody that is looking for a better
Democrat we just played.
No, I'm talking about the special counsel who's looking for a better job in the next Trump administration is not going to dissuade Americans who actually see what the real world impact on their lives is of Joe Biden's administration.
But there is a difference here that we're talking about. Your fellow Democrat was talking about the ability to go out there and campaign. Is there a problem here?
There's not a problem. This president is going to be able to sell a record that is extraordinary. I know that he is ready for this campaign. I have seen how effective he has been up close and personal, and I'm not going to let my constituents be distracted by a special prosecutor who's trying to gain favor within the MAGA movement.
Yeah. That's Chris Murphy. 2 years ago. It was less than 2 years ago, actually. He said he wasn't going to let his constituents be confused by something that isn't true. It's Chris Murphy Sunday.
How do you convince the public that Democrats are telling the truth now?
Yeah, listen, I think Democrats do have to be honest about the mistakes that we made in 2024. Obviously, in retrospect, Joe...
Mistakes, dude? Is that what you're calling it? What do we call this on Earth, ladies and gentlemen? Here on good old planet Earth. What do we call what Chris Murphy did? Lie, right? Lie. He's talking about mistakes, not lies.
How do you convince the public that Democrats are telling the truth now?
Yeah, listen, I think Democrats do have to be honest about the mistakes that we made in 2024. Obviously, in retrospect, Joe Biden should have stepped away from that race. We should have had an open contest.
Not anything about what he said about the president on the same network, on the same show, with the same host. Refresh your memory.
Joe Biden is incredibly competent and he's incredibly effective. And this partisan hit job by somebody that is looking for a better
Democrat we just played.
I'm talking about the special counsel who's looking for a better job in the next Trump administration.
He was emphatic. You listen to me. Listen to me. This guy can do the job. He's the guy. He can do the job. He's 100% fit. He did somersaults yesterday. I saw him juggling knives with his nose hairs. Guys, perfectly healthy.
How do you convince the public that Democrats are telling the truth now?
Yeah, listen, I think Democrats do have to be honest about the mistakes that we made in 2024. Obviously, in retrospect, Joe Biden should have stepped away from that race. We should have had an open contest.
Mm-hmm. He should have stepped away from that race. Not that we shouldn't have lied to the American people. That's good old Chris Murphy. But remember all of that, folks. Remember all of that, because we're going to get back to Chris Murphy on another subject entirely. We'll get back to him. But that's Chris Murphy running around telling everybody about what clearly is BS. And people try to ask this question. It was like, why is he only polling at a 2? He seems to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, He's in Hartford, doesn't let anybody know. It's funny because he'll send out a press release when he's in Missouri. But when he's in Connecticut, no press release. In fact, the press don't even seem to know he's home. Like he never gets a hero's welcome. Back from conquering St. Louis, Chris Murphy's back in Connecticut. Never. At all. He did that remote. In fact, if you were watching, he was doing that remote from Hartford at a Hartford television studio. Anybody know he was here? I didn't know. Nobody told me. He's never anywhere to be found. He is Carmen Sandiego out there. Now, I get it. He's got to sell a book. And everybody says, you have to sell a book before you start, with the whole presidential campaign. Chris, come on. Let's just get it over with, okay? Say you're running and then drop out around, I don't know, what's primary season? I don't know, like October, maybe even earlier, like August. That's all. At least say you're running an exploratory committee. Just do that. Just do that. That will make sense. But he's a worm. A worthless one at that. Because everything he says, and I'm stunned because I heard Eric Erickson talking about him today, then I hear the Five talking about him like he has some significance. Chris Murphy has no significance. Chris Murphy has the significance of your mailman. I was like, sure, he delivers the mail, but do you really talk to him? You know, are you even home when he arrives? He's like your mailman. It's like when he doesn't arrive with the mail, you look around. Oh, no mail today. That's the way I look at Chris Murphy. A subject comes up and I look around and go, well, Chris Murphy didn't say anything. That's weird. When he does, I expect him to deliver the same thing. Bills and junk mail. That's it. Nothing substantial. He's never going to... Chris Murphy is never going to deliver you the Publishers Clearinghouse check. He's never going to do it. He's going to deliver you junk mail. That's what he is. And you look and you sort through it anyway. Yeah, you know what? I have thought about a second mortgage. That's what he is. He is a bottom feeder. He is. He's got serious mental issues, too. And I know no one takes him seriously, but he just makes me laugh. I beat up on him because he's easy to beat up on him. He's like, he's that kid. He's just that kid. And, you know, there are some kids who are just good-meaning nerds, right, who get picked on. And that kid you feel for, like Lucas, for those of you who remember that movie. You know, that kid you feel bad for. Oh, he's such a good-natured kid. It sucks that they keep picking on him. He's not Lucas. No. He's the worm you can't wait for the bully to lock in the locker. That's who he is. Because he won't stop talking smack. That's all. Let me go to Jim. How we doing, Jim? What's going on?
Reese, you got to stop using my material when it comes to Senator Murphy.
What am I using that's yours?
Well, I know I don't call enough for you to remember, but I've been calling you and previous hosts about Senator Murphy.
Yeah.
Saying exactly what you are saying, which is that he is a third-rate Democratic Party politician. He is given the worst of the worst positions to go out there and then try to do something about with his inane sense of, I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. He's got that same stare that quite a few in the Democratic Party have, both in the House and in the Senate, which basically tells you, I don't think he even believes what he says because I don't think he knows what he says.
Yeah,
when it comes to some of
I don't think, you know what he is? You know how some people, like, you know, Donald Trump talks about Susie Weil as being sort of like a pit bull. You know what I mean? Like, you know, releasing, you know, he'll even say that about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. He'll put them out there to really sort of gnarl people up. Chris Murphy is put out by the Democrats, in essence, sort of like a yapping chihuahua to pinch at your heels.
He is the carnival barker before the show.
That's right. That is right.
He is the P.T. Barnum of one of P.T. Barnum accolades.
Yeah.
Before the show goes on.
Yeah, it's true.
And the thing is, with the way the Democratic Party has shifted so far left, there are times where he makes sense. My gosh, the other day I was thinking about Hillary Clinton, and I'm saying to myself, I can't believe that I think that she actually made sense about something. Totally forgetting who Hillary Clinton was.
Well, no, you have to understand what that is. It was such a great line. Who said this the other day? Oh, it was Bill Maher. Bill Maher said that, in fact, he had a whole monologue about it this weekend. On Friday, he said that it's usually, you said, you know, when a Democrat is out of the door from the Democrat Party when he starts saying rational stuff. Like he was talking about one primary when the guy's talking about how we need to get rid of identity politics. And then you look at his polling and he's at a 4. It's always when they're desperate, they all of a sudden decide that they're going to be reasonable people.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with any of that, but nobody, and I mean nobody in politics, devours each other better than a Democratic Party.
Oh, but that's the thing. And their nobility is in the personal destruction of one of their own. And Graham Platner is not far from it.
And all I'll say, and thanks for the time, by the way. And
My pleasure.
I'll say is, once again, Senator Chris Murphy, he's got the look and the verbiage that backs up absolutely nothing that makes any common sense. I just think he needs the clickbait. I don't know what he needs. And when you tell me he's selling a book, let me end with this.
Yeah.
He reminds me in one way of Hillary Clinton, who for testified in front of Congress or went on media shows to say she couldn't remember anything about anything.
And then wrote a book.
And then she turns around and writes 10 books.
Such a good point. Such a good point. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you. Let's go to Rick. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Hey, Reese, I'm doing great. So I'm a good friend of Mark from West Hartford.
Okay.
I actually own a home in Newington, and I own a home in South Carolina. And I just wanted to say I'm in South Carolina for a while.
Okay.
And I ran into a woman on Saturday that came from Simsbury and retired down here. And she told me her financial advisor told her, get out of Connecticut.
Wow.
And I run into so many people down here, Reese, that are from Connecticut, and they say the best move they ever did, get out of Connecticut.
It sucks that they have to move and they can't do anything to save the state, but I get it. I know the sentiment is real. South Carolina seems to be, I don't know how many people have told me over the last, I put up that post about how many people have thought about or have moved out of the state. I got so many responses from South Carolina. So many.
Yeah, and so many people you save almost $7,000 to $8,000 a year in taxes coming down here. It's amazing, you know?
Yeah. And it's so, it's wonderful that the cost of living is so low down there because it's something we should consider. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Right. So I read your article Sunday, and Reese, that was one of the best articles that I've ever read. You hit the nail on the head about what is happening in Connecticut.
Thank you.
Great article.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Rick. I'm going to tell everybody about it in a little bit. Thank you for queuing me up.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Reese.
You got it. Yeah, so if you're not following Reese on the Radio or going to the webpage, reeseontheradio.com, you can always just follow me on Substack. Just subscribe to my Substack. You get the article every week and sometimes during the day. I just wrote another one earlier this morning that I posted about the Graham Platner situation, which we'll talk about later. So every Saturday night, I work on a subject based upon something that's going on. And this week was no different. And it had everything to do with the 2 viral videos that I put out that involved William Tong and Governor Ned Lamont. And your reaction to that, which what Rick is talking about, to just lay it out, it's as simple as this. You have to ask yourself, why a video of me asking Governor Lamont about a comment he made about people of color and voting? Why would that video have more views than any of the major news network interviews combined? And it's got now over 360,000 views. Why would that one video exchange with Governor Lamont have that many views? It is simply for one reason, because they are not asking the questions that I'm asking in that interview. Same case with William Tong, a question that I asked him that he refused to answer. The reason why that video goes viral is because no one bothered to ask him those questions. I wasn't a shock jock. I wasn't trying to catch him off guard. I wasn't even insulting. I asked him a legitimate question, William Tong, about J. Allen Jones in a video that he is keeping from the public about the man's murder, or as the coroner called it, a homicide. He chose to take it out on me. And in my Substack, all I did was break down exactly what happened in our lives, where the governing class became the ruling class, and how we play a role in that. There were men and women who took the role as being, leaders, senators, congressmen or women, whatever the case may have been. It was to serve the public. But then something changed. And I break down from the New Deal to Roe v. Wade to us relying on government to make those decisions for us and us not hashing them out at the ballot box. And it's continued on and on and on and on and on. And now that we have people who can serve, like John Larson, who is now quite possibly out of the door, Rosa DeLauro, 35 years in office. These people have started to believe that they are entitled to certain, behaviors from us, that they should be treated like rulers and not servants. Go check out the Substack. Go to ReeseOnRadio.com so you can read it yourself. There's a new one there today about, Graham Platner, which we'll get into in due course. Stand by. It's Reese on the Radio.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. Telephone calls coming up in we'll probably do something in the next hour or so stand by for that. At the telephone number, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Also, we'll have Rozan on the line in a little bit. I asked her a question that I mentioned in the top of the hour, and she had an interesting answer, so I want you to hear it. I asked whether or not she sings or talks to her plants. She had an interesting answer I want you to hear, so stand by for that. We'll call her up on the phone. I tell you guys all the time, pay no mind to the hypocrisy of the left. You can talk about that till your ears bleed. It is a waste. You don't have to trouble yourself with it. I go to some of these Republican events, and that's what they're doing. You know, the hypocrisy. I'm like, I don't want to have that conversation over and over again. What I want to have a conversation about is the fact that people do not care. It's not about hypocrisy. They do not care about the thing that they're outraged about. They don't. That is the focus. They don't care about the thing they're outraged about. Let's take Nazis. They don't care about Nazis. That's why they say it all the time. Nazi, Nazi. Quick to say it. Don't agree with them? You're a Nazi. They don't care about Nazis. They just want to insult you by calling you one. They don't care about racism or Jim Crow. That's why everything is racist and Jim Crow, because they don't care about it. If they did, when they saw real racism, they would address it. I bring up, Scott Extra Large all the time, right? The J. Allen Jones case is clear racism. Yeah, I'm saying it. Yeah. But what did old Extra Large choose to hold a press conference about? About a girl being sent home for putting color in her hair against the protocol. That is what he called racist. A hairdo. And who did the news media run to? I don't hear the media covering J. Allen Jones. When you talk to them about it, they go, huh? I didn't hear about that. Really? Girl gets sent home for having blue and red in her hair. Yeah, I remember it vividly. I was sitting at home. We were just having dinner as it came across the wire, and we all stopped and said, wow, how racist. They treated that thing like 9/11 had happened. They don't care. They don't. And it isn't selective outrage either, folks. They just don't care about the things that they say that they care about. It's convenient for them. It's a talking point for them. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Graham Platner up in Maine. Nazis You don't even agree with somebody and you're a Nazi. You can misquote the president on fine people on both sides for over 7 years, and he is a Nazi sympathizer. Wear a Nazi tattoo on your chest for some, 10, 15 years. It was just a mistake. It was PTSD. Say something like this at a campaign rally. Where are my blacks? Where are my blacks? Or my favorite one, black people. What do you have to lose? Racist! Racist! Let me get the quote right. Let me make sure I get the quote right. Black people don't tip. Okay, you got me there. It's not racist. It's just true. That's Graham Platner, though, right? But it doesn't meet the level of scrutiny that you would give to the president of the United States. And you will argue. You'll sit up here and say, but he's the president. He wasn't at the time. He was campaigning when he said, where are all my blacks? He was campaigning when he said that. I know black people tip. I didn't say that. They don't tip well. No, I didn't say that either. You don't have to defend old black people, Roland. You don't have to. I don't have to. I'm sure they tip. You tip well, right? Roland, you seem to be a person who tips well. That's why you take it as personally. You know,
everybody in my whole family tip well.
Well, first of all, I would consider your family and a lot of others exceptions, because if you respect the service industry, of course you tip well. I think all of us sort of.
A lot of my mother taught me at a young age, because she used to work for tips.
Oh, okay.
So she does hair. So she said, always make sure you tip well, because your mother works for tips as well.
That's right.
And we appreciate people that tip well.
Damn right. They don't do that in Connecticut, apparently. They don't believe on no taxes on tips and no taxes on overtime, but that's another story. But no, I get your point. No, but that's what this guy Platner said in a Reddit post. He said far worse than that, but we'll get into that in a minute. But my point being here is that they don't care about the things that they're outraged about, ladies and gentlemen. That's my point. The thing that they're screaming, they don't care about it. They just care about it when it applies to who they want it to apply to. And Graham Platner is a perfect example of all of this. And they asked him right off the bat, are you sure nothing else is going to come out about you?
Is there something new you want to get ahead of?
No, I mean, I've lived my life. I've been there for the whole thing. And because of that, I know what I've been through. I know what my behavior has been. I know all of it. And there's a reason that even after however many months that was, October, when they dropped the opposition research stuff on us, and the whole time there was always just there's more coming. And I was I don't know what this more is going to be. And
these are all your social media posts, etc., which again we'll talk about in a minute.
But there was always this oh no, they're going to dig up everything in your life, and it's everything you've ever done. I'm I get that, but I've been through my life, and I'm certainly an imperfect person,
and he is. Of course, he's an imperfect person, without a doubt. Most people are imperfect. But you have to consider that when you're running for office, especially a Senate seat. That's a considerable office. And when I start looking at these things and I look at the people who have held the president of the United States, whether he was in office or out of office, the standard of which they hold him to, they should be holding Platner to the same, in my view. The tattoo, which was a skull and crossbones chest tattoo, he got it in 2007 while drunk with fellow Marines in Croatia. How long did he keep it? 18 years. He didn't decide to get rid of it until he ran for office. That's to be considered. Why not? Claims he didn't know the meaning. Although it was skull and bones in a Punisher style, some reporting suggests he referenced it as his Totenkopf. He knew what that meant years earlier. After Donald Trump was called all types of things like Nazi, inspiring thing. Remember the whole stand by comment during the debate? You guys remember all of that, right? Guy was a closeted bigot. Not so much for Platner. Don't forget the Access Hollywood tape. Grabbing women by a certain body part was a problem. Well, how did they feel about what Platner said about women who had been sexually assaulted? Was that an issue? Should have been, but it wasn't. Still isn't. And let's not forget Stormy Daniels. The $130,000 that ended up being 34 felony counts. And now we have text messages, sexually explicit text messages sent to about a dozen women. His campaign says it was 6, but his wife said a dozen. Not so much. Not so much. I wonder what that worm, Chris Murphy, had to say about it.
Campaign for Graham Platner confirmed to CBS on Saturday that the Maine Senate candidate had sent sexually explicit texts to women other than his wife. This is in addition to other past controversies. Does he pass the character test?
Yeah, I mean, I have not followed this story as closely as others have, but I mean, Graham Platner is somebody that served our country. He served his community. He's also made mistakes, and he has admitted that. Character also involves standing up to people who are bankrupting and corrupting this country, and this race is going to be a contrast between somebody that has put his life on the line for this country against somebody that is literally empowering the moral hollowing out of our nation from the White House. So he certainly admitted that he has made mistakes, but I think this is going to be a pretty clear contrast in Maine between somebody who has spent his life protecting us versus somebody who seems to be protecting Donald Trump's corruption.
Now I get it. I'll explain when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So Graham Platner has to be allowed to run because everything that guys like Chris Murphy is against and many people on the left are against when it comes to Donald Trump is acceptable because Graham Platner is against Donald Trump. So he's allowed to break all of those rules and then some. All the things that they say are disqualified. Graham Platner is allowed to do all of those things because, again, he's going up against Donald Trump. They are willing to compromise all the principles they tell you that they are running on. Everything that they're about. Corrupt, sexist, racist, bigoted, Donald Trump. All these things that they're opposed to. They get somebody who clearly shows some misogyny, poor judgment, bigoted behavior. I mean, come on, Nazi tattoo for 18 years? Seriously. And they're willing to accept that because, again, he doesn't like Donald Trump. But I'll go one step further. Graham Platner, here's what he said that's very, very interesting.
But I also know for a fact that, like, I've never been close to money. I've never been close to power.
When we come back, I need to address that. If you missed it, let me play it again.
But I also know for a fact that, like, I've never been close to money. I've never been close to power.
There's a lot of people out there who love that he said that. I want to test that theory when we come back. He's never been close to money. He's never been close to power. He thinks that's a flex. And I don't know if you're familiar with me, but I have a problem with people who know nothing about either of those subjects who get to dictate to us what that should look like. I don't know any one of you people out there who have ever taken money or taken advice. I should say advice, not money. Taken advice from a broke dude or a broke woman I always equate it to this joke. And I love telling it to ignorant people. Very, snarky intellectuals. This joke is perfect. And I used to tell it when I was a smoker. It's a guy sitting at a bar and he lights up a cigarette, and this very angry woman looks at him and she goes, "Ew, are you going to smoke that cigarette?" He goes, "Matter of fact, I am." She goes, "How often do you smoke?" He says, "I smoke every day, maybe about, a pack and a half a day." So she asks him how much a pack of cigarettes costs. He tells her, and she starts equating it. And she goes, "Do you know, if you quit smoking, with that money you save, you could have a Lamborghini." Guy looked at her and said, "Do you smoke, ma'am?" She goes, "Well, of course not." He says, "What kind of car do you drive?" She says, "I drive a Toyota Corolla." He says, "That's interesting. You don't smoke. Where's your freaking Lamborghini?" I would never take advice from somebody who's broke. And I damn sure wouldn't take lectures about power from someone who's never had it. How would he know what to do with it? Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, buddy. All right, coming up, second half of Reese on the Radio begins now. We're going to continue with our discussion about Graham Platner and how it exposes what the left really, really believes. Also, Mia Ginter, who is the director of, and I'm forgetting exactly what her position is, she is the director of fundraising, actually, at the Forever in My Heart Foundation in our charity, which is Canines for Connecticut Vets. We'll talk to her at about 4:40 this afternoon. And, of course, we got so much more to get into, what Lamont's secretly doing behind the scenes, working with the Trump administration. You people on the left, especially you Josh Elliott supporters, you're probably going to be outraged about that. We'll get to it. We'll talk about that, of course. Also, I want to talk about 1983 versus 1985. I just went over 50 of the most popular songs in both of those years, and I may have to concede that Rodney might be right. I'm not liking this at all. Plus, we'll get to your phone calls as well. There's a bunch of other news that I need to get to, and for some reason I can't remember what it is. I thought I had it in front of me. Anyway, I'll go grab it. But stand by for all of that. In fact, what the hell? We fly by the seat of our pants here. Let me just grab it. This was, yeah. It's the same thing. I apologize. It's about what New England is doing about trying to lower energy prices, and they're going to abandon all of that wind and solar. Gee, I wonder why. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I want to thank the Connecticut Sentinel for sending me this. They are asking if I saw this. I saw it briefly, but it was right before the show. Listen closely.
Are we entering a new era where it's not so much about the mistakes you've made and maybe the imperfections in your personal life, to put it nicely, and more about being authentic and honest? I mean, is that what we should take away from Graham Platner not cratering in the polls on the Democratic primary?
Now, that's Katie Turb from MS Now, formerly MSNBC. Who's she talking to? Our resident worm, Chris Murphy. What was his response?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't seen what Platner has said about these latest disclosures, but I did see what he said about the things he had posted on Reddit. Some of them were offensive, but he was really honest about the place that he was in his life when those things happened, about his remorse. And I think the reason that he is still leading in the polls by a wide margin in Maine is because he is flawed, and he's been honest about that.
Yes, I mean...
You can't make it up. Can't make it up. What's Chris Murphy talking about here? What could he possibly be talking about when saying that he's flawed? We have a couple of them. Let's go with, let me see. Like I said earlier, Platner posted why black people don't tip. He agreed that rural white Americans actually are racist and stupid. He used homophobic slurs and other Reddit threats. People called him a youthful indiscretion and an angry veteran. A PTSD is the reason for explaining his edge. He mocked a Purple Heart veteran's survival in one deleted post. Again, apologies. Post-war anger radicalized by Iraq and Afghanistan. Those are the reasons why he said that a Purple Heart veteran's survival in one deleted tweet, saying that he deserved or he should have died. Remember the outrage of D-Day? The suckers and losers comment that was attributed to Donald Trump, never verified. Remember that? It was holy hell to pay. Graham Platner wants to be your senator. Yes, some of the things he said were reprehensible. But I don't want one step further here. Stand by. Don't go anywhere on the phones. Stand by. I want to play this. I think it's important with the latest revelations by Wall Street Journal and the New York Times about these sexually explicit text or correspondence with 12, 6, who cares, women at the early stages of his marriage. His wife put out a video talking about it. And I got to tell you, folks, her defense of her husband and their marriage was not helpful. I think what she revealed is that neither one of these people should ever reach the levers of power. Let's take a listen.
Makes me really angry, disappointed, and I find it really shameful that there's a group of media outlets and people who are willing to spread gossip instead of...
Willing to spread gossip, she says. Not rumor and innuendo, gossip. Gossip she made available when she told her campaign about her husband.
Talking about real issues that Graham is running on, like healthcare and education and childcare. I just really wanted to make sure that everyone knows that Graham and I have a great marriage. Being married is hard. Being newly married is hard. Being newly married and going through infertility is hard. Being newly married, going through infertility, and a Senate campaign is hard.
You clearly can't handle it. That's a lot of stuff to be putting on your plate. You're trying to get pregnant. You're dealing with infertility. Marriage is hard. And you want to throw in a Senate campaign to boot? All of the things are hard, but you joined into this fray? What are your motivations here? Deal with your family. You clearly have some infidelity issues to deal with. And you've got some infertility issues to deal with. These are taxing. You want to join the fray in politics? This dirty game? Aren't you stressed out enough? But that wasn't even it. That's petty. Let's get deep. Now, again, just like we found out about her husband's indiscretions with women, she also reveals something else, because apparently she can't keep her mouth shut.
I don't even know if I have the right words to describe what we've been going through, but our marriage counselor helps. My personal counselor helps. Graham's personal counselor helps.
Let's get this right. There are 3 therapists in this relationship: a marriage counselor, a personal therapist, and another personal therapist. Interesting. This isn't good.
And we work on our mental health every day.
What? You work on your mental health every day. I know that everybody's got a mental health issue, right? Depends on how you do it. I don't see a therapist. I do go to meetings, though. I get to talk to great guys like Doug. Notwithstanding, it's not important. But the bottom line is, you speak to your therapist every day? You're in therapy every day? This job is... No. That's a problem.
Makes me really angry, disappointed.
Let me get back to here. There we go.
My personal counselor helps. Graham's personal counselor helps.
Mm-hmm.
And we work on our mental health every day. No marriage is perfect, and I don't want a perfect marriage. I want my marriage, and I want to be married to Graham. Sorry, black flies. I knew the man that I married is wonderful and dynamic and probably a genius.
Probably a genius, huh?
I knew the man that I married had been through an immense amount of violent, active combat. And he's been in therapy for years.
This is not good! He's been in therapy for years. He's dealt with a lot of violent combat. These are not winnable arguments, ma'am. This is not in any way saying to the rest of us, please elect him. I don't know why she did the video. She thought this was going to help him. Well, I guess in their world it would, right? Being this vulnerable, talking about your mental health issues would garner some sympathy and say, you know what? Your husband may be schizophrenic. Your husband may be dealing with PTSD. All the reason to elect him.
I admire the out of them. So when there are news articles about our marriage, it's just extra. Can I say that online? I hope I can. It's extra because people in Maine want affordable gas. They want to be able to see their doctor when they're sick.
They don't want a senator with mental health issues. Everything that he has been found to have done, online or anywhere else for that matter, it has been a result of what? His PTSD. Somebody explain to me why a person in elected office should be given the opportunity to make those same PTSD-driven mistakes. Who would? Who would if that's always going to be the excuse? That he's having PTSD issues. I don't know. Let me go to Gio real quick. What's going on, Gio?
Gio. Reese, you let me leave the car as soon as you answer my phone call. Funny guy.
What's up?
But long time no see. I would compare Greg Platner to the Texas Senator Republican that's running, if I'm going to be frank, from what I've heard for the past 20 minutes.
The Republican senator? Which you're talking about?
The one that's running against Tallarico.
Oh, you're talking about Paxton.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was accused of, what was it, corruption?
Wasn't he took a no plea deal? He wasn't accused. He was tried. And
did he take a plea? No plea? Did he take a no plea? Yeah, I thought he was acquitted.
Something like that. I'm just saying that's the top of my head who I think of when.
So Graham Platner. Hold on. So you're saying that Graham Platner, who said that, what was this line about women who should not get so bleeping drunk that they end up sleeping with a guy they don't want to, black people don't tip well, and a Purple Heart veteran should have died is tantamount the same as Ken Paxton?
Well, I feel like they're very, very similar in personalities. Though, I will say, I did not know much about Greg Platner until you brought him up.
Graham Platner, that's his name. Graham Platner. You didn't know much about him. But wait a minute.
No.
I would go so far as to say, remember the comment, right? So saying that a Purple Heart recipient deserved to die, would you put that on the same level as the accusation of Donald Trump saying that those on D-Day who died were suckers and losers, right? Remember what people made of that, even though it was unconfirmed and unverified, And people who actually push back against that still make that a claim that lays at Donald Trump's feet. This guy, Graham Platner, said of a man who was fighting for his life, did he deserve to die? You would say that was equally reprehensible.
I guess in your standards, yeah.
No, not mine. Your standards don't ever live by my standards. Your own standards are.
I mean, I never made that claim. You asked me about it, and I.
No, I'm saying having heard that, comparing the two, like, do you believe what Donald Trump was accused of saying was reprehensible? And if so, then you would obviously agree to what Graham Norton said.
Everything that I've heard you say about this guy is pretty reprehensible. Like I said, I don't know anything about him. I need to do more research about
Do you believe? How about this one? I'll go this way, Gio. Here's my. If being a Nazi is a scarlet letter, clearly a guy with a Nazi tattoo, a death squad Nazi tattoo on his chest for 18 years is, disqualifying. Yes?
We're not talking about Pete Hegseth, right?
Pete Hegseth has Christian tattoos on him. And you know that.
Yeah, I mean, Christian nationalism that could be tied to
There's
Nazis.
no such thing as Christian. There's no, wait a minute, Gio, wait. There's no such thing as Christian nationalism. In fact, Christian nationalism is about as real as Palestinians.
Okay, well, actually, getting to that, I know you haven't been talking much about it, but did you hear about the National Defense Authorization Act that they're trying to pass? Which, for some reason, is weird how we're not bipartisan on a lot of issues, but when it comes to Israel, this is the part that we're very bipartisan about.
Are we really bipartisan on that? Why don't you ask?
Israel? Come on.
You don't. Wait a minute. You don't think? Hold on. You think that there's a bipartisan coalition with Israel in the current state of our Congress today?
Yeah, I would argue it through AIPAC lobbyism. I mean, Cory Booker.
Yeah, but don't. You know what? You guys throw that AIPAC. Hold on. You guys throw that AIPAC thing around a lot. First of all, you know nothing about AIPAC if you think that they're an Israel lobby. Is that what you think they are?
The American Israel PAC?
Right. How much money compared to Muslim money? In fact, let's use a recent example. How much Muslim money did Thomas Massey collect in his campaign?
Enlighten me.
You don't know?
I'll confirm it.
Oh, okay. You should look up how much anti-Israel money Thomas Massey got. You should. Yeah, because again, all AIPAC is a bunch of Americans who care about the interest of Israel.
Americans?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not just Americans.
No, I'm sure but there are Americans that women. So it doesn't matter whether
dual citizens.
Wait a minute,
maybe dual citizens.
Maybe dual citizens, or they are dual citizens.
Okay, if you confirm it, yeah.
Okay, but you seem to be making a lot of assertions without any facts to back it up. Are there no Americans who are part of AIPAC?
I'm sure there are.
Of course there are. Of course there are. But you use the word AIPAC as if some sort of reason it's at scarlet letters. Like, it's AIPAC, so they must be evil. Why are they evil?
Well, because they push pro-Israel agenda when...
So does NAACP. The NAACP pushes black agenda. Is that evil now?
No. Like I said, we are pushing towards a joint military with Israel.
Is Israel an evil place, sir?
When it comes to ceasefire, I feel like it's not in their vocabulary.
Oh, so what? You're saying it's not in their vocabulary? Okay. This is, Gio, I know that you're a young guy. I'm going to spend more time with you soon. You know what? I'm going to bring you into the studio. We're going to have a whole hash out.
Oh, I would love that.
You would? You know what? Hold on. Let me put you on hold. Stay on the line. I'm going to put Gio on hold. I think you guys would like that young man here on the show. I would love to sit and talk with him for a little while. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to get his information in a minute. Stand by. More news, more views. I got more audio to play here when we get back. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio. Here's Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
I forgot what time it was. We got to do the thing.
Very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today comes from the Los Angeles Times, citing severe math deficits at the UC facility and demanded a return to SAT tests and STEM applications. Hundreds of University of California math professors, including from UC Berkeley, are begging the system to bring back the SAT or ACT for STEM admissions after 6 years of test-free equity policies. Why? Because incoming students are so unprepared that professors are stuck reteaching, get this, reteaching middle school math in college-level classes. A UC San Diego report highlighted a 30-fold spike in students testing below high school level, with 70% of those below middle school standards. The original 2020 decision ditched the test because they were supposedly biased against students of color and low-income kids. Classic math is racist framing that prioritized feelings over readiness. Now, reality is biting. Gaps are so bad that the basic fluency in structurally unattainable for many in the STEM. The article tiptoes around it, but absurdly shines through after years of lowering the bar in the name of access to elite facilities are admitting the emperor has no calculus. They note that the tests actually help identify talent from disadvantaged backgrounds better than inflated high school GPAs. Critics still whine that SATs are inequitable, as if pretending students are ready magically makes it so. Yeah. So after all of that, saying that we were going to get rid of these things, turns out kids come in even stupider, if that's a word, than they did when they came in. Stupidest thing I read today. I'm going to get Rozan on the phone later on to ask her about the talking to plants. She says to me that she does it, that she talks to them. She does something else. And I should have figured this. I should have figured it. But I'll let her tell you when she calls in. And we'll get back to, Graham Platner in a second. Because this thing with the wife, there is something about this that really makes me feel like we're going to go through another dropout soon. I don't know if you're feeling it the way that I'm feeling it, but there's this sort of potential that Graham Platner is going to drop out. I think this guy's a loose cannon. I think that the women that he's contacted are probably going to come forward. They will have receipts. Some of the things that he said to these women while married will be, indefensible. That's what always happens. These reporters will get that once they got a hold of you just a little bit, you start to look bad, they go, we're going in for the kill. If there's anything a journalist loves, it's destroying a political career. They love it. Love it. They just put your skull on their mantle. Got him. Got him. They don't care about the lives they destroy. Just as long as they're destroyed. We'll get back to your phone calls. Mark Christopher's back. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Getting you on the road.
Guys, real quick.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
What do you got?
Myles Garrett traded to the Rams.
Oh.
Odell Beckham.
Back at the Giants.
Back at the Giants. And A.J. Brown to the Patriots.
Oh, wow. But A.J., is it too late for A.J.?
No. He still got a year or two left in him.
At least a year or two, right? He's still a great wide.
It's the Patriot way.
Yeah.
Pick up the guy, at the end of his career, don't pay him as much.
Hey, as long as they're not picking up criminals like the Raiders.
But that's what the Raiders have always done.
Yes. I was like,
you see their fans?
Yeah, right. Good point. Very good point, Roland.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I don't even wear green like that. You ever seen me? I mean, I wear like green shirts, but I rarely even wear green. I can't believe I actually own a green baseball cap now. It's like army green. And that's not regular green. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Rozan really loves this color. But she wants to wear it like in a dress. It's like, oh, like regular clothing. I was like, no, it's... Yeah. Yes, they do. Anyway. Oh, goodness. Let me take Mark in Canton. He's been on hold for a bit. Hey, how are you, Mark?
Hey, Uncle Reese. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
Hey, I've been following this Platner guy for a while now.
Okay.
And if you really want the inside scoop on this scumbag, I would get Steve Robinson from the Maine Wire on.
Yes.
John Feddison. Those two guys have been following him for months, and there's a couple things that he's done that you haven't even talked about, like the porta potty deal and all that.
Yes, I didn't, because it's a family show, and it's such a delicate thing. But you're right, that porta potty thing was just absolutely gross.
Yeah, his hand must have been delicate, huh? but anyway, those two guys have it going on. The Maine Wire's on his tail. And
what do you make of the polling data, though, Mark? Mark, what do you make of the polling data that says that Mainers really want this guy over Susan Collins? I love one of the things that what's the guy? Jonah Friedman, I think, said it best. Was like, I can't believe that they're choosing this guy over what can only be described as the most bipartisan Republican known to man in Susan Collins. The woman voted for the Affordable Care Act, voted to impeach Donald Trump, or at least to found him guilty in his impeachment trial. This woman has absolutely behaved as Democrat light in most cases, and this is the guy that they're going for.
Well, I think myself, I think that he's getting all the Somali illegal vote. You know, everybody that's pushing for all the freebies.
Yep.
Those are the votes he's going for. And if you look at Maine right now, I think they said a third of the people in Maine are on Maine health care, which is basically like Husky care. Well,
yeah.
So you give away freebies, everybody's going to vote for you.
Yeah, it is insane. That's so. I mean, I remember like 20 years ago, in the beginning of my career, people were telling me about Somalis that were in, a lot of African nations who were coming up to the Maine area. And I was just like, why there? I just thought it was weird. Yeah. But I hadn't thought of, the welfare, the welfare state that Maine is. I hadn't even considered it. But
again, Steve Robinson, Maine Wire. If you get him on, he's got a wealth of information.
You know what? I don't have anything going on tomorrow. I will reach out to him today and see if we can further this discussion. Thank you, boss.
Okay, sounds good, brother.
Thank you, man.
Care.
You got it. Yeah, there's that porta potty thing. You cannot talk about that without it's just nasty. Anyway. I wanted to get into this. So Ned Lamont is running around telling everybody he's the guy fighting Donald Trump. A lot of politicians are doing that now. Those who are facing primaries or just, running in general elections. The conversation is they are running against Donald Trump. And I know that there are some people, these campaigners, if you will, these everyday campaign types, and strategists who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to tell these campaigns what to do and what to run on. Lamont seems to be he's running against Trump, not against Ryan Fazio. And there's a dismissive nature in that. Because I get it. If I'm somebody working in the Lamont campaign, I say I'm running against Donald Trump. And, Fazio's just, he's a gnat. Oh, I'm not worried about him. He's just in the way. It's meant to be dismissive. Right? But I'll tell you what the real deal is. Lamont can't run against Fazio. He can't even run against Elliott. He has to run against Trump. His campaign isn't smart enough to run against Fazio. It damn sure isn't smart enough to run against Elliott. It can't. The only avenue it can go down with Elliott is to go further left. So you behave like Elliott isn't even there. He's not even in the room. Fazio, same deal. If he has to fight Fazio, he's got to fight Fazio on the issues. He's got to fight the affordability. He's got to make a claim, and Fazio can, of course, expose him. You hear that nonsense that Lamont's talking about? Here's why it's nonsense. Let's break it down for you. Here, there, and everywhere. He doesn't want to have that ideological debate, or his record doesn't. Wants to make it about Trump. Why? Because Ned Lamont's campaign believes that's the boogeyman. I just want to make it safe for you, folks. I just want to make it safe for you. He's making it really, really hard for black folks, that I never talk to. He's making it hard for the Hispanic folks that I never, ever talk to. People I never invite to my dinner parties. He's making the world really difficult for everybody who isn't white. Donald Trump only cares about white people, while I hang out with all the white people of Connecticut. He's hilarious in that the big bad wolf is who Lamont thinks he's running against. Same thing with old A.G. Tong. He thinks everything about his campaign is, how can I make this about Trump? Don't you want me to sue him? I'm going to sue him. Bring me back in office so I can file another lawsuit. I've not finished suing this man. That's what I'm going to do all day, every day. Going to sue. Hey, A.G. Tong, why don't you do something that protects the children? Roblox. Yes, but we can't have these predators going after children. They're going after them in school, A.G. Tong. No, I'm not interested in that. I want to get the children who are online. All of these people are funny. So when I hear this guy talk about how opposed he is to Donald Trump, I look at these stories. And this story was interesting because it was in a little publication. What was it called? The E&E? Yeah, a little small publication. A report out of the E&E News shows that liberal leaders in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island quietly warming to the idea of expanding natural gas pipelines, the same projects they spent years blocking in the name of climate goals. The Trump administration officials say that Governors Maura Healey, Ned Lamont, and Dan McKee have signaled openness to bring more natural gas into the region. The reason isn't complicated. New England posted the largest wholesale power price jump in the entire country last year. Natural gas already supplies roughly half the region's electricity and is the top fuel for home heating. Yet the pipeline network is old and undersized. That forces utilities to lean on expensive imported LNG and oil-fired plants every time demand spikes. Healey's team now says that she's laser-focused on lowering cost and creating American jobs. Lamont has publicly stated his administration is open to more supply to strengthen reliability. And McKee is pushing Rhode Island's 100% renewable target back 17 years. To Lamont directly. Lamont is one of the clearest examples of the quiet but significant shift that we're seeing in the New England area. Last year, in his State of the State address, Lamont didn't just hint at it. He called for more pipeline access, more nuclear, and more renewables, all in the name of increasing energy supply. That's a notable change from the tone of the governor in one of the bluest states. Just last year, he told reporters he had a productive conversation with Williams Companies, the firm behind the proposed Constitution pipeline, as well as the Trump Energy Secretary Chris Wright and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. What did they talk about? Bringing more gas to the region. He says, this is why my administration remains open to a range of energy sources that increase supply, strengthen reliability, and help lower costs for consumers, end quote. He's secretly meeting with these folks, while he's screaming to you, I'm fighting Donald Trump every day, every time, every. He's not just joining the Trump administration on energy, folks. He's joining in other areas, too. Remember that bill he signed about ICE not being able to wear masks here in the state or they'd be arrested? That was all for show. Lamont attended a White House meeting with Trump in February of 2026 and asked a direct question about ICE surges. He got a response from Trump that the administration would not send extra agents into cities that don't request them. However, Lamont went and signed all of these multiple laws defying the Trump-era tactics. But for what? Trump said he wasn't going to be bringing more troops here anyway. And he had a conversation with him, met with him in February of 2026. Fighting Trump? The guy's working with him. Now, many of you might be saying, well, that might be a reason to vote for him. Is it? Is it? Lamont's playing, he's double-crossing you. You people on the left. He's telling you he's fighting against Donald Trump, and he's secretly opening up his hand. Begging for goodies. Yes, there's supposed to be a dog. Ruff, ruff. Isn't that interesting? That is incredible. Huh? You mean to tell me that this guy is talking a whole lot of smack about how he is fighting Donald Trump and secretly meeting with him and saying, hey, help me lower costs? Low down dirty. That's just awful. Oh, they're such frauds. All of them. They're such frauds. Oh, I guess we have something else to ask Lamont about. Blaming the Trump administration on one hand and then begging for goodies on the other side. Wow. That's an interesting point of view. Anyway, we come back, music news. We'll talk to Rozan. And who had the better year for music, 1983 or 1985? I want to go through a couple of these lists just because. And I feel like there isn't a song here that I don't know, but I am the worst person to ask here. Let me tell you why. I hate a lot of this music. Can I give you a couple of examples real quick, Roland? I don't even know if you're going to remember any of these. I'll give you right off the bat a song that I cannot stand that's on this list. In 1985, one of the top 50 songs were We Built This City by Starship. You know I hate that song. I made that very clear. Cherish by Kool and the Gang. Hate that song. Loverboy by Billy Ocean. Do you know that there was a song called Loverboy by Billy Ocean and a song called Lover Girl by Tina Marie in the same year? I didn't even know that. You Belong to the City. Hate that song. Oh, Sheila by Ready for the World. Hate that song. Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge. Hate that song. Just hate all of these songs. A guy who is not as hateful as I am when it comes to music is our good friend Mark Christopher. He's joining us in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Let's do the thing. News. We're going to fix this audio if it kills me. One day it's loud, next day not so much. We're going to figure it out someday. Anyway, celebrating birthdays today. Brandy Carlisle, the acclaimed folk singer, turns 45 today. Alanis Morissette from Jagged Little Pill and, of course, Ironic fame turns 52. Ronnie Dunn from the group Brooks and Dunn turns 73. Ronnie Wood, another Ronnie from the Rolling Stones, turns 79. And legendary pop singer Pat Boone turns 92. 2. That man is still around. Show him some love. Pat Boone in the house. On this day in 1967, the Beatles released their groundbreaking album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band in the UK. In 1972, the Eagles released their self-titled debut album with songs like Take It Easy and Witchy Woman. That was today in 1972. In 1969, the year of my birth, John Lennon and Yoko Ono recorded the anti-war anthem, including Tommy Smothers. You know that song, Give Peace a Chance? Yes. And 1977, Reggae Don, you'll probably love this one. Bob Marley and the Wailers began their memorable residency at London's Rainbow Theatre during the Exodus tour. Oh, look at that. Bob Marley sold out. And in 2008, a major fire at Universal Studios Hollywood destroyed thousands of mastered recordings from artists across decades. A significant loss for music archives happened in 2008. Wow. On this day. When we come back, we will talk to my wife, Rozan, and she will reveal exactly what she does when I'm not home with her plants. And also 1983 versus 1985, plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He is in a BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How you doing, sir?
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
You know, I told the wife to call in exactly this moment, and of course, she missed it, which I'm, again, trying to get her on the phone, but she is probably doing something else, like talking to the plants. That's probably what's happening right now. And there she is. You know, and you think it would happen like clockwork, but, you know, it's okay. On the phone, your favorite and definitely mine, my wife, Rozan, is on the line. Hello, sweetheart.
Hello.
So I began the show by talking about how you had me take you to Home Depot so we can get you 2 new pots so that you can plant a potato and a pineapple.
Correct.
Okay. It's one potato, right? It's just one. I'm not exaggerating here or understating. It is one potato.
So it's a seed potato, and so as it vines, you know, as it grows up and you pile the dirt up around it, it will actually have a bunch of smaller potatoes that will grow. So yes, how
long will this process take? Is this potatoes for Thanksgiving? Like what are we doing?
Probably for Thanksgiving, yes.
Oh, so we're not going to see these potatoes until Thanksgiving.
Probably.
Oh, well, okay. I was actually being facetious. I didn't know I was accurate here. So look.
Yeah, no, they take a while, and they're purple potatoes, so it's much more. Well, they're healthier. There's more antioxidants, more vitamins. It's much healthier. So.
Well, okay. Well, if the potatoes won't be ready to Thanksgiving, can I assume the pineapple will not materialize until, I don't know, let's say the 2028 campaign?
Yeah, probably. That one's going to take a while.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. But the ginger is almost ready to harvest. So
The ginger?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how long that's been in there. I didn't even know we had ginger in the house.
Yes, there's ginger, and I have a small lemon tree that has sprouted.
Mm-hmm.
Have a ton of basil and some cilantro that's growing, and 3 tomato plants.
Oh, there are tomatoes. I knew there were tomatoes. Okay, so at the beginning of the show, I said, I would assume that you talk to them and you have names for them. Is that true?
I don't really have names for them. I call them, like, I talk to the pothos and I call it pretty pothos, and, you know, I talk to the potato. How are you doing today? Yes, I talk to my plants.
But you said there's something else that you do as well, other than talking to them. You do what?
I converse with them.
No, I heard you sing.
Well, sometimes you have to sing to them. So, you know, when you sing to plants or play the music and talk to them, when you interact with them, they're actually healthier. So, you know, that's what I do.
How often do you sing to our plants? And am I ever home when this happens?
Absolutely not. I cannot stand the possibility of the ridicule from you whilst I entertain my plans.
I wouldn't ridicule you. I would call it strange, but.
No, I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
I'm afraid of how you'll look at me. I can't stand the judgment.
Okay, well, that was all I wanted to call you about, just to find out if indeed you talk to them, but now I know that you sing, and when I'm out of the house, you do okay, so, all right, so the first thing that we're going to see from this, I guess, experiment of, planting is Thanksgiving tomatoes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. I'm sorry, potatoes. The tomatoes,
Well,
not so much.
We'll probably see the ginger and the basil first.
Okay, yeah, basil's easy because it's just, it's weeds. Right?
Okay, sure.
It's not weeds?
It's not a weed, no, dear. It's an herb.
Whatever. Whatever. Michael B. wants to know, what kind of music are you singing to the plants?
Just whatever pops into my head. Usually it's Christian music or,
Okay.
I don't know, some top 40 thing from 20 years ago.
Okay. So whatever,
Yeah.
whatever like sort of pops up in your head. And
Yep,
you're singing
that's it.
while you're watering them and like moving them around and all that other good stuff, right?
Yeah, so because they're indoor plants and there's very low light and, all of that good stuff, they get watered about once a week.
Okay.
So I just check on them every day and I look at them and I tell them how pretty they are and rotate them and, yeah. They're my little pets since somebody won't let me have a dog.
No. So Michael B. says, so there's no Five Finger of Death Punch songs. Definitely. I don't think she even knows who that is, Michael B.
I do know who that is, but no, classical music tends to do better with plants. They just make the plants more lush and green. And actually, I'm looking at my pothos, for example, is growing. It's getting a lot more lush than it has been in, the 3 or 4 years that I've had it. So, something's working.
Well, okay. I just wanted to get, I just want to get some feedback on it because I brought it up, but okay. I will let you get back to your plants. I guess I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Love you, babe.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. And there you have it. She sings to them. I had a feeling she was going to tell me she sings to them. I knew it. What are you going to do? Let's go to Thomas. How you doing, Thomas?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, I didn't sing to my pepper plants last year, but I kind of cursed them out at the end of the year when they didn't do too well.
I'm sure that didn't help.
No, it didn't. I put them in a little earlier this year, so I'm hoping they do good. I got 3 peppers, and I always do a couple. I do the little $5 store-bought figs of basil. They're already growing, and
you just grab those and just put them in the garden?
No, those I put in my windowsill to keep clipping them as they grow up.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Fresh basil is excellent.
Yeah, I know. My wife she swears by it without a doubt. You didn't call about that, though, did you?
No.
Okay.
You had mentioned earlier about the Democratic, the fake outrage, and I couldn't agree more. But what I'm majorly calling about is Jill Biden. Reese. She said from her own mouth that she thought President Biden was having a stroke.
Yes.
And what did she do? Take him to the Waffle House. The American Medical Association of her medical license, and she should not be able to practice medicine in any state in the United States, Reese. I am outraged.
She's not a doctor.
Outraged.
She's not a doctor. But hold on. I was telling someone this the other day. Listen, anything short of Donald Trump committing a murder on Joe Biden, they would have never run out there to protect Joe, even having a stroke. Do you understand that? They left him out there. They hung him out to dry. Every one of them, because they were never going to cede any ground on their own against Donald Trump. They didn't. They didn't realize how bad it was until it was there. They had no game plan whatsoever, and they thought that Joe Biden. In fact, not Joe Biden. Let me just rephrase this. Here's what they really thought, and I know you think this too, Thomas. Donald Trump is so bad. Okay, they could have run a deaf mute. They could have run Helen Keller before the education against Donald Trump, and she would have won. They really thought that Donald Trump was so reprehensible that no one would vote for him ever. And having a feeble and very, unrecognizable man known as Joe Biden or old Uncle Joe, they didn't care. They put him out there because everything about Donald Trump was worse than a feeble, old, inarticulate Joe Biden. That's why they were never going to run out there and save him. So when she said, I thought he was having a stroke, she didn't think that. That's just something she needed to put in a book.
Yeah, she needed something. Reese, if a liberal governor's motorcade ran over President Trump crossing the street, they just drive by and leave him there.
Listen, again, Donald Trump was so bad. Donald Trump is so bad. They could not give him or cede him any ground even in that. Even after the debate, what did Kamala Harris say? It was a bad debate. It was a bad, not that Joe Biden looked like he didn't know what he was talking about. They just said, hey, people have bad debates. They don't have that.
No, they don't. But Reese, I do think you're wrong.
Okay.
I know Whoopi Goldberg said that Joe Biden would be a great
Surgeon General.
Surgeon General. So I think she might have a medical degree.
She does.
You need to double check on that one.
She doesn't. And Whoopi Goldberg is not a great defense.
All right. I trust you.
You got it. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Hey, somebody we haven't talked to in a while. Mr. Windsor himself. Dave is back. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, Trump's a blundering idiot.
Okay.
And, I don't care. Maybe Biden, I don't know what was wrong with him, but there was definitely
Oh,
something
stop
wrong
it
with
with
him.
that. No, listen, Dave. Listen. Have an ounce of credibility here. You're going to sit up here and say, I don't know what was wrong with Biden. What, did he just have a rough night? Maybe he was out drinking with the boys and showed up at the debate, maybe with a hangover? Is that what you're trying to dismiss it as? Come on, man. Have a little more credibility.
No, I'm not trying to dismiss it as anything.
Yes, you did. You just sat up here and said, I don't know what was going on with Biden. Really?
Well, all right. The guy was having a stroke. The guy was...
I don't care if he wasn't having a stroke. The man's cognitive decline had reached levels that should have never had him at the point of power he was in. He should have never been running for re-election, should have never ever made it to that debate stage. He was a quivering, absolute idiotic a representation of a president of the United States. The man was walking off places, shaking hands with people who didn't exist, referencing dead people, not once, but twice.
All right. Well, I can't disagree with anything you said, but all I'm saying is now this guy's a blubbering idiot. He's got us into something he can't get us out of.
Why is that? Why can't he get us out? What are we into?
The war in Iran.
What are we into?
He's got a tent with a UFC fight going on for our 250th anniversary.
So?
I mean, it goes on and on. His rants at the end of the...
Okay, I know you're
absolutely no sense.
You're screaming off a whole bunch of other things. Let's stop and go piece by piece. There's a war in Iran?
Well, I don't know what you'd call it.
Okay, I know what I would call it. I would say let's compare the two, right? Let's talk about the war between Ukraine and Russia versus what's going on between the United States and Iran. Would you compare the two and say that both of them are taking on casualties?
They're taking on casualties.
No. Who is the United States has lost 13 service members. The United States has lost 13 service members at the beginning of this conflict. Well over 3 or 4 months ago. How many casualties are we taking on thus far?
First of all, I'm not equating the war in Iran and Ukraine because we're sending them arms or supporting. Well, actually, we pulled back on that.
People are continuously dying.
I don't know what Putin has on Trump. but it's a lot.
Wait a minute, what?
You know,
you don't have to listen. I know you need to change the subject, but you said that there's a war going on in Iran. We're kicking the pants.
I believe that, yes.
We're kicking the pants off of Iran. Who's firing missiles at us? Who's firing missiles at us?
When you're shooting at each other, I consider that to be a conflict.
There's no boots on the ground. What are you talking about?
Well,
gracious. You're not listening. We bombed them.
I'm listening.
We bombed them. What fire are we taking from Iran? Iran's attacking everybody else. We're not attacking. They're not. We're not suffering any casualties or any loss of military.
Iran actually is making us look like a bunch of fools on the world stage.
How?
We can't even open the Strait of Hormuz because they got speedboats. Give me a break. Really?
We can't open. There's a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, what am I talking about? You can't get they won't let anybody through to go even get to the blockade.
Okay, so no one's going through, but I'm trying to figure out how they're making us look like fools in the Strait of Hormuz.
Because nobody can get through there, and they can't solve the problem.
That's the reason why.
Us look foolish over there.
Are there negotiations taking place?
You know what? Yeah, every day it changes.
Yes.
Oh, we got something here. We got something there. You know what? I'm so sick of this freaking guy. I'd wish he just.
There you go. That's it. That's it. You know? That's right. What it is. You're sick of him.
You can call it whatever you want.
No. You're fine. I don't listen. I know you.
I've been telling you for a long time.
Yes, I voted for him.
Scammer since the 80s. He's nothing but a scammer. Look at the money he's making. What he's doing. Please, the guy's a joke. He's an embarrassment.
Okay. And you voted for him, right?
Oh yeah, I voted for him.
I know.
You know that.
I know.
Yeah, I voted for him.
I know.
I'd rather vote for Howdy. I would vote for a monkey if they put him up.
Well, who did you vote for?
Who did I vote for?
Yeah.
I voted for Kamala Harris. That's who I voted for in that election. And I voted for Clinton before. And he always brags about this having the largest margin. He won by 2 million votes.
Okay.
He didn't even win by Clinton beat him by more popular votes than he won against Kamala Harris.
Actually, that's not true. That's nowhere near. But you know what? Hold on.
Look it up.
Dave, I know exactly what those numbers were. But I got to go. I got to take a break. Thank you, though. He voted for Kamala Harris, folks. Look at him flex that muscle. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's back. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
When somebody tells me that they voted for Kamala Harris and then says, I voted for Clinton too, and then says, I just hate the guy. I don't know what a reaction they're trying to get out of me. But when I hear it, I always like, oh no. You got me, buddy. You got me. You hate Donald Trump. No kidding. How original. It just isn't. There's nothing original about it. Nothing. You're so upset about the war in Iran. What war? What war? This is skeet shooting. What are you talking about? Do you hear anybody covering it anywhere? Anyone talking about it? It's not even on the headlines anymore. Graham Platner sending sexually explicit comments. I mean, the guy's running for Senate in Maine. There's more conversation about that than anything that's going on in Iran. You're really all that upset about it? Angry even? I just hate the guy. Okay. So what? Can I tell you what the truth is? I'll tell you what the truth is. Someone told you that your hatred of him matters. It doesn't. Not in a peep. It doesn't matter. And what you're really angry about is that it doesn't. And you hear these people talking about, I can't complain, and if I did, who'd listen? That's what it is. Because you know nobody cares. Nobody cares. But you can call on up whenever you want. Oh, Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. When we come back, we'll talk to Mia Ginter, the Director of Fundraising at Forever in My Heart Foundation and K9 for Connecticut Vet. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
By the way, folks, if you haven't, please go to WTIC.com. That's WTIC.com/vets. WTIC.com/vets. Help us out as we get a canine for a Connecticut vet right here in the great state of Connecticut. And the people who are making that happen are the Forever in My Heart Foundation. On the line with us now is Mia Ginter, who is the Director of Fundraising. Speaking of which, Mia, how are we doing in the fundraising department? We doing okay?
We are doing fantastic. We are literally about $1,000 away.
Okay. All right. So we got later on today and, of course, tomorrow morning, we'll be asking folks to continue to contribute. I'm going to see if I can get some of my friends to jump in today. I've got some meetings at roughly at about 6:30 today and get some folks to come down there. So how long have you been doing this, Mia?
So I have been with this organization. This is my 4th year, my third campaign with you, and my 4th year total.
Oh, okay. And I got an opportunity to meet one of the recipients who I actually had the pleasure of talking to here on the air. And of course, everyone else who has been, I think, Alicki. Why am I forgetting her last name?
Mira
Alicki, yes. Finally got to meet her. And I spoke to so many people in this organization and then got to finally meet the dogs. I met Shadow. I met Amber. Was it yesterday? Was at yes, at the Yard Goats game. And I'm not going to lie, it is difficult not to want to contribute because those dogs are just so damn adorable. Was that kind of the draw for you?
Honestly, yes, the dogs are cute, but honestly, seeing what solidified it for me, honestly, was Justin, my first campaign with you guys, because that was my first full circle of seeing what a person and hearing what a person lives through in their life, and then seeing what that dog did for Justin.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who are remembering, that is Justin Prosser and his dog Aster, who I can't stop talking about either.
I'm so proud of Justin. I'm so proud of Paul and every recipient that we have. Mm-hmm. Those two are near and dear to me because, like, I've seen them full circle.
Wow.
100% full circle. And it's just, it makes me so happy and so proud of every single person on this team because we all give 1,000%. And you can't put a price on that person's life and what it's done for them.
Yeah, listening to people's personal stories there, because we got to meet Shadow as well.
Yep.
And listening to the personal stories of that family, he was at, who was that? I'm trying to remember his name now. Shadow's owner is, what was his name? Paul, yeah. Yep. So I got to meet Paul and his wife and Shadow yesterday.
Yeah.
And we talked for so long. I mean, I don't remember having a conversation this long with anybody who was sort of like doing a sponsorship with. But the reason why was just even listening to his story, then talking to his wife about how their relationship has shifted in so many ways with the dog present in their lives, how happy they are, how comfortable Paul was in a ballpark of all places with loud, and it was crazy. I'll tell you this, Mia. So we're in there and the loudspeakers are going off inside, like coming up next, third baseman. It's loud and we're right underneath the speakers. Two things were absolutely evident to me. One, Shadow didn't even flinch and neither did Paul. And I was compelled to ask them.
Trainers.
Yeah.
We have awesome trainers. The people that we have that teach these dogs and train these dogs, Kim, Laura, Doug, they are 1,000 times miracle workers. That's all I can say about them.
Yeah.
Paul himself and his wife, 1,000% a miracle worker, even for himself.
Yeah.
Because he and his wife, they have to learn how to work with that dog as well.
Yeah.
And they've done amazing jobs. I'm so proud of them. We all are so proud of them. It's not just me. We are a team. But we are also very proud of the work these individuals put in, as well as the work we each put in.
Yeah, it is such a collaborative relationship. What I also found fascinating was, and it cannot be ignored, is that the relationship doesn't end once the service dog gets with the worthy Connecticut vet. That relationship continues for a while because life changes, situations change, and therefore new tools have to be applied to the service dog.
Absolutely. And we make sure that we stay with them.
Yeah, and it's sort of like family related. What I also thought was wild, and I wasn't sure, I didn't want to ask, but it was so crazy. So Shadow shows up, and I didn't know who Shadow was or who Paul was, because it's all black labs. But anyway, so I finally introduced myself, and I realized, but I looked down at Shadow, and you have to explain this to me in whether or not this is true or not. But Shadow was wearing a Forever in My Heart harness. Is that because they need to, or is that because they feel prideful enough to wear that, just to remind everyone where this service animal came from and where the training was? It's sort of like, I always get the sticker, like, Coons Ford is sitting on my car, Is that the reason why they keep the vest on?
Yes, we are proud of the work that we do, and I believe Kim probably would know this answer better than me.
Okay.
I believe we do have to put that on there.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but I believe we have to put that on there, that we are the dog's trainer.
Okay.
Kim would actually be the better one to know that question than I would, to be quite honest.
Okay.
But I do know, even if it's not a requirement, it is a pride. We are proud of the work we do. We are proud of the people that we help. And
yeah, I think it's great. Listen, I think it's great PR no matter what. It's like, I remember, I look at that tag, and as soon as I saw it, I said, when you're walking down with your service dog, you may be a person who doesn't know that you need one, or you've been thinking about getting one because you suffer from PTSD. You could be a veteran or just someone who just suffers. And you'll see that service dog walking around, and you see that emblem, and you see that name on there, and you just say to the person, hey, is that where you got your service dog from? And it's like, yes. And sort of the conversation starts, and it brings it right back to your organization, which again is doing such great work. And it's the proof is there when you're in the place, as we were with the yard goats yesterday, sitting there looking at the dogs, seeing them in action is all you need to know that what you guys are doing is worth it. And it's absolutely impeccable.
It makes my heart smile when I hear other people talk about it, because it means that we're doing really good.
It is. Absolutely.
You can't tell I have a giant smile right now.
No, you should. You should. Like I said, I'm a curious person. I don't really think about, like, I see service dogs all the time, and I'll tell you this is another thing I got to tell you. So when I see service dogs any other place, I remember the first time I'd ever done it, and I felt a little bit of shame afterwards, because, it's this beautiful golden retriever usually, and you just was like, oh, can I come up and they go, no, he's working. And I'm like, oh, and I know better, but it's a dog, and it's like, dogs and babies. Like, oh, can I see? And I was told, but what was crazy about this was Paul shows up with Shadow, and I walked away to go get a baseball cap. I come back, and my wife is on the floor playing with Shadow. And I look at Paul, and I go, hey, can you do this? Is this right? I'm like, I want to grab my wife and go, you can't do that. But Paul looks at me, and he goes, no, that I allow that. That's absolutely fine. I go, really? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more cognizant myself now, like before joining this organization.
Uh-huh.
I was like you. It's like, oh, can I pet your dog? I would get all excited.
Yeah.
And no, you can't. And, people have the conception that service dog trainers are just rude people because you can't touch the dog. And that's not it at all.
Yeah.
It's not about being rude and not wanting people to touch the dog. It's the dog is working. The dog is learning.
Yeah.
And they have to learn to pay attention to their handler, not to the crowd around them. So it's just a misconception people have because dogs are cute and furry and you want to hug them and snuggle them. That would be me. But
I will end it by saying this. This is what was absolutely amazing about the work that you guys do. And folks, I kid you not, as Rozan and I are leaving the ballpark yesterday, she started talking to me about it seriously, more serious than she ever did. Usually it's like my wife saying, you know, I want a new purse, you know, so you kind of like, you're dismissive of it. But she says that when the loudspeaker went on and, you know, she was startled, that Shadow immediately took action and put his head on her lap.
Oh, see?
He immediately recognized her anxiety.
And how did she feel?
She said that it was the most overwhelming feeling she's ever had. And talking about it, she was getting a little emotional. She said he instinctively knew that I was, and she's like, I just met the dog, and he just knew. Yep. And so that is a testament to the work that you guys do. You know,
100%.
That these dogs are trained to recognize it, not just in the person, their person, but to recognize it, period. It is instinctive in them, and they know exactly what to do.
There have been days where I've gone into our board meeting extremely anxious, and I have a somewhat stressful job for a regular full-time job.
Sure.
Because we are all volunteers, 100%. We do not have any paid employees. We are all volunteering. And Aster has come up and just given me some snuggles and some time, or he'll stick by me for a little bit until I relax or calm down.
Wow.
So, or Amber will, Kim's dog. So I myself have felt it from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So after meeting you and your wife yesterday, I'm so happy to hear that she was able to recognize that for herself.
Yeah, it was, when I looked at her, I was like, really? It's just like, God. And I made sure that I wanted to ask you about that because that is just phenomenal just for her to experience. And I think we're serious about it. I think we're something that we're going to start working on.
I hope so. It would be a beautiful thing for your wife.
I think
it really would.
I think so too. And thank you for hanging out with us for the little time that we were there. It was a pleasure to meet you folks.
It was my pleasure. We do a lot to try to make sure that we raise these funds. You guys have been phenomenal in that instance, and I love our partnership. I love working with all of you, and Brian and everybody there has been amazing and wonderful to work with. I can't say enough about it.
We appreciate it. Absolutely. We'll make sure that everybody gets to the website today, WTIC.com/vets, WTIC.com/vets. Help them raise the money that's necessary for a new dog, Tucker, and another worthy recipient, a Connecticut veteran right here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Mia. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Reese.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's it. The dogs were phenomenal. They're all so beautiful. They're just sweet and beautiful. So help them out if you could. Again, WTIC.com/vet, WTIC.com/vet. Let's get to our last but not least. Brian in Bristol's on the line. What's up, buddy? Brian? Okay. He may have walked away. It happens. On tomorrow's program, we will, I know I had this. Why is it not in front of me? Oh, we'll talk about the California race. Now, I know that is way over on the other side, but I want to talk about it tomorrow because I hope you know why this is such an important conversation that people are having, especially over here on the East Coast and in Washington. Because if Spencer Pratt can win in L.A., anything is possible across the country. Now, you might say it is a testament to how bad Karen Bass has run that city. I mean, I think it's more than that. I've been making this argument about Connecticut for the last couple of months. And I kept saying to you, you folks keep telling me it's impossible. You keep telling me it cannot happen. Keep telling me that it's a lost cause. Spencer Pratt's election tomorrow, I don't want to say it's a testament to what can happen. However, it is an indicator. That's why it's so important to many people. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm watching that race pretty well. I'll be honest with you, the Graham Platner thing, I'll tell you, I don't think he's got a shot in hell anymore. I think that's over. I think another scandal's about to break on that one. And it's going to get dirtier. When the Democrats and the news media start circling around, oh, those vultures, they're the best. They're the best to watch. They are. So stand by for that. So we'll get into California politics tomorrow right here on the program and so much more. Oh, climate activists. That's another story about how climate activists are not letting go of this insanity and what they're trying to do with the kids and technology. We'll talk about that as well tomorrow, so stand by. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Make sure you're on time. Mark Christopher, who's always on time, getting you home. He's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.